Hello there everyone, my name is Oversoul, this is Oversoul Gaming, and welcome back to Danganronpa. If you remember in the last episode, we decided to pursue Kyoko's lie, which led to her dying, and an alternate ending where we lived out the rest of our lives at Hope's Peak Academy. Clearly that's not the canonical ending, or what actually happened. So, we need to follow the continuity and just let it go. Also, in case if you're wondering what happens if you hit run away, Makoto just says, "No, I can't run at a time like this," and then it sends you back. It's a fake choice. There is only one right answer here, and it is let it go. I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here. Something that has to do with the Mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
Well...
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Both things are true. It's whoever...
Someone had to put the key in there.
Whoever tried to kill Makoto is the one who put it
There's
there.
only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second! You've got it all wrong! Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
I don't think so, man.
A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you?
That part's true.
Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the Mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Well, you cut him
Time's
off.
up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time.
There's never been a time limit.
So
Wait,
then,
yes, there
it's
has.
time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Well, this isn't good either. Not a much better outcome than last time. At least we got an A and everything there. That should be worth a lot of coins.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Well, shit. Monokuma's one of the faces on there. They could have voted for him. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You've got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense!
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills, kills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment! Wait, why do I... Kyoko!
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Yeah, you threw me under the bus, you heartless bitch. Kyoko.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Really staking a lot on the ultimate lucky student, ability here, aren't we? Oh boy. No originality, though. Makoto's execution is exactly the same as Kyoko's was. The same smushy, doopy thing. Well, this sucks. This really fucking sucks. No matter what, one of the good guys dies. Oh, Makoto. You know what's crazy is there's a VR version of this trial. Like there's a VR tech demo for Danganronpa where you can experience a trial in VR, and then you get to experience this particular execution in VR. Like you're sitting in the chair, and like you're underneath the thing when it comes down and smushes you. It's fucking crazy. Oh boy. Wait, alter ego? And at the last possible second, alter ego comes in and saves the day. Although since he's tied up, landing upside down like that would still kill him. That's a pretty long fall. But he didn't get smushed. So, alter ego had a little juice left. Huh? Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that? Yeah, it had to be.
This
Alter ego. Alter ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe this!
It would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words...
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us.
Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch. An itch. The stupid virus is gone now, got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit. In a way, that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world. Is he gone? Hey, Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time. Huh?
In other words...
Now, it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed.
The massive high school towers over all the other buildings in this bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable, a government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are 2 things you need to attend this school. 1, you have to already be attending high school. 2, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school, filled with the ultimate students, was me. What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? It wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Yeah. Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare? No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in there till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me. And he used up the last little bit of strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. So when the laptop connected to the network, he must have uploaded a copy of himself into the network. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of there. Okay. That's a rocket and a tank. I better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. No. This is a desk? It's probably the one that fell down here with me. Don't know how I survived that fall. Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pit? It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't gonna be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon. I decided to look around for some food. In a garbage pit? There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up, because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. Crunch! What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was that had tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude.
Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
Kyoko?
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected.
What are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you.
I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished.
Thank you! I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way toward my stomach. Oh, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So you still haven't given up, then?
Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at.
Alright, so what's the dealio? But, Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt. Or, no, to atone.
Atone?
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything.
So you knew that I knew?
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you.
Don't say that. You didn't abandon me.
No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... There was a reason that I had to survive no matter the cost.
What was it?
It's true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive...
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to the school to do.
What?
I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason.
So you have some reason for coming here, then?
Indeed.
That's right. At least, I did once.
Once?
Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was.
You forgot? But that's...
I had no memory of what my purpose was.
No memory? That's impossible.
Amnesia?
Then, is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school?
The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I came to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was.
But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient.
Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive. It was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory.
But why would they want to do that?
There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans.
So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However,
And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of this school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time.
But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us.
What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right?
The mastermind? One of us? If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me.
But why me?
Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but
I see. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind. Right?
Understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
Yeah. It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
listen.
are you okay?
Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced.
Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. Okay. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability.
You mentioned your ability.
My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective.
The ultimate detective?
correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school.
And who would that be?
So,
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy.
The headmaster? Why did you want to find him?
Because he's my father.
What?
in other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak.
Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak Hope. Then that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved.
I'll find a way.
Huh?
No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
no matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him.
That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room.
Then what did you see in there?
So,
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found.
But why there?
Because I also found this in the headmaster's room.
This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Makuro's profile and that key. The map showed the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room.
So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors.
So what was it like? That part of the school, I mean.
It's hard to describe. All I can say is, the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined.
What do you mean?
So,
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough.
It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. Still gonna chat, okay.
however,
Of course, once I got to the second floor, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building.
It has to do with Mukuro Ikosaba, doesn't it?
however,
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either.
I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikosaba was to get me killed.
Get you killed?
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Yeah, that trial was a farce.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial.
It was?
The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly.
You mean because of the school regulations? Which he broke his own rules by having a fake trial anyways.
That's right.
Exactly.
With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it.
The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikosaba.
What's that?
There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto.
I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Do you mean during the night?
I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death.
What?
I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this,
Anyway,
which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction.
So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity.
Yeah, it means that they're getting close to figuring this out, and the mastermind is starting to feel cornered and is making some rash and drastic decisions to try and fix it.
The identity of the other ultimate despair.
The other ultimate despair?
There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person.
It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event.
You're talking about
That's right.
What happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
the tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair?
It would seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair.
Then they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy.
And that's the end of Chapter 5. So Kyoko's not wrong, and just a tiny peek into the future. Oh look, no one died. Huh. So far, Hiro's prediction about there would be no more murders has come true. But yeah, so just a little bit of a peek into the future. The ultimate despair, Kyoko's right, is not just one person. The ultimate despair is actually a whole group of people. They're the ultimate evil, the big bad guys of the entire franchise. Think of them as Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts. And they are basically behind everything. And they have different members doing different things at different locations. And at Hope's Peak right now, one of their members is the mastermind behind all of this that's going on. Mukuro Ikosaba was one of the was a member of the Ultimate Despair, but she's dead. But she was working with someone else here who is the actual mastermind behind all of this, who is still alive and is still putting us through this. Which should be evident by the fact that Monokuma is still up and walking around. Someone has to be controlling him, right? So... So yeah, the ultimate despair isn't one person. It's a whole cult, but that is obsessed with despair. And just one of their many members is the bad guy behind what's going on here. You know, but they're even once we, hopefully defeat them and hopefully get out of here, there's still much more ultimate despairs to deal with in the outside world. So, anyways, the ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now...
Anyway...
Right now, we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after.
Yeah, you're right. It's locked, but we have a way to open the door. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it.
And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Hey, Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out.
Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... Yes, it opened!
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go.
Sounds good. What a relief. What would she have done if that key didn't work on this door? She just kind of jumped down here without a plan. Finally! We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6, Ultimate Pain, Ultimate Suffering, Ultimate Despair, Ultimate Execution, Ultimate Death. That's a long chapter title. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel, extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. That's an unfortunate shot. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you.
Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work?
How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way.
Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us.
Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it.
Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence.
A conscious effort?
It's true.
It sounds more like a spy than a detective.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride.
Pride. So that explains... Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet... I gave up some of that pride.
Huh?
In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do.
But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father.
Huh?
But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him.
Sever? Oh, going no contact, huh?
The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind.
I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective.
I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional.
I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing that I can never forgive.
Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago.
But your family, to just cut him out like that...
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family?
Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. That hatch looks familiar. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us.
We're back.
That's right.
Remember, that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble.
Then why didn't you just come down this way? Well, here goes nothing. Oh, that's right, she disguised herself as a bag of garbage. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. Monokuma would have seen it if she came down this way. The hatch opened with ease, and so...
Looks like we're back.
Whew.
But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted.
I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of here. Out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you.
No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor.
Alright, we need to get out of here. So what's the next step once we get out of here? Oh. So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out... And I'm worried about you, too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried?
Yeah, of course.
So then,
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
in other words,
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Well, wait, that's...
however,
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away.
As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're just saying rather than just stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now?
Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't.
Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
so,
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down.
There was?
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go directly to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations.
I'm still a little... No, I'm super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going.
You know that for sure, do you? Okay. Alright, if you say so.
Well now, well now, well now, well now.
Hey! Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't
But-
believe it!
Makoto's supposed to be dead! What's he doing here?
That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay?
Boom, boom.
You were supposed to be punished! Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now
Me angry!
I gotta punish you again! And this time, I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko!
Right.
Do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
Huh? I lose?
Hey!
You! Explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
because,
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation, no more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So, executing Makoto, for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Wow.
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this? A comedy routine? To make such a bold claim without a shred of evidence?
That doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type?
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution, he would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. Yeah, don't forget that this whole thing is being broadcast worldwide to a live audience.
They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what's this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say?
A fair trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word.
Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So, time for bear jokes. Now, what you've suggested might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So, for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here.
All the mysteries?
That's right! Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain myself!
then that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of the school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair?
I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held?
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement?
You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that.
Huh? Mukuro's trial is no exception, then it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro...
It's a very polarizing approach, I know. But, okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but... This killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those same 16 students.
What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking. I've got nothing left to say to you. So, get lost, would ya?
Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here.
Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go?
I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. Well, somebody's gone nuts. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Alright, well, we'll thank Kyoko for her help in the next episode, because that's going to have to be the end of this one. Yes, Makoto is still alive, thankfully. So, technically the 5th and 6th class trial are basically both the same class trial. Since the 5th trial was a mistrial and the mastermind directly interfered in an attempt to get rid of who they considered to be a nuisance, the whole thing was a farce, we're now going to have a retrial, and this time we'll learn everything. The truth behind the school, who the mastermind is, who killed Mukuro, and everything. Any questions that you've had about this game in particular, about the story of this game in particular, will be answered. And even some questions about the overall lore of the franchise as well. But it's also going to plant the seeds for more to come later. So we got a couple more episodes to get through because we have to investigate the school, find as many clues as we possibly can, and then we got one final class trial and the ending to go through. So maybe 3 or 4 more episodes. But anyways, look forward to it. Let me know your thoughts on how all of this is coming together in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to click that like button. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you possibly on another day, definitely in another time, and likely in another video. Okay, goodbye.